Hi, welcome to NicheCraft. My name is Cassie and I'm your host, and today I am going to teach you how to make this variation on the granny square. But before I begin, I want to thank Dana, who is one of my subscribers who bought me a coffee. I wanted to say thank you so much. Everything that's donated to me goes back into the channel. So it goes to purchasing things for giveaways. It also goes to purchasing yarn that I can do demonstrations with and all of that kind of good stuff. And I just want to give a big thanks to Dana for doing that for me. I really appreciate you. All right, so back to this stitch. So this stitch is called the Modern Granny, and it is made using just double crochets and then a double crochet 3 together. Now, if you're a beginner and that sounds kind of scary, no worries. I'm going to walk you through it. It's easier than it sounds, okay? And for those of you who know, the double crochet 3 together is going to be across multiple stitches, okay? And basically, so what you get is this kind of staggered looking pattern here with enough, holes in it for it to be a breathable material, kind of like a regular granny square. This is something that looks really, really nice in blankets. I personally have not seen it in anything other than blankets, so I can't really tell you what it looks like in other situations, but I thought it looked really, really great when I've seen blankets done with the Modern Granny. So that said, get some yarn and a compatible hook, and we are going to learn how to make this stitch, okay? I'll see you when I'm there. Hey guys, so I am coming to you from the future because this is what I just crocheted while doing my tutorial. But as I was doing the tutorial, I realized that there might have been something that I wasn't very clear about. So I'm going to go ahead and put this at the beginning. So you're right now looking into my future, sort of, in a weird way. So here's what I wanted you to see. The one thing that trips people up when it comes to this Modern Granny stitch is that we've got a border going on either sides. We need the border in order to make the stitch because these clusters here need to be staggered. Okay, so we need to have a border. So when you're looking at these clusters here and you've got the smaller amount of the clusters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You're going to need 2 double crochets on either side. When you get to the space where you need more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this case, you'll just need 1 double crochet. Okay, and you're going to, and because this pattern is a 4-row repeat, you are going to be considering the very first row where you begin with 2 double crochets as row 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through row 1, then I'm going to take you through row 2. Right? Then I'm going to take you through row 3 and 4, showing you how to switch back from the 2 double crochets to the 1 double crochet, right? And I'm going to take you through 3 and 4. Then what I'm going to do is real quickly, or in comparison, quicker, I am going to show you how to get back to that double crochet here on either side, okay? And I'm going to take you through row 1 and row 2 again. Then I'm going to take you to the second time I do row 3 and 4, okay, so that you can remember how to get back to where you need just 1 double crochet in that border. So the thing that I want to get across to you is the stitch itself is very easy, okay? All you have to remember, and this is the only tricky part, is whether or not you're going to do 2 or 1 of the double crochets at the beginning and the end. Hopefully I've made that clear. Getting started. So the Modern Granny is made with a multiple of 3 plus 1. So when you are ready to make your project or your swatch, go ahead and make a slip knot and put it on your hook. And then what you need to do is chain a multiple of 3 plus 1. All right, guys? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain a multiple of, how about 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 would be 22. Okay, so I am going to chain 22 chains. Okay, there's my first one, there's my second one, and on until I get 22 chains, okay? And when I'm done, I will come back and show you how to do the first row. All right, we are ready for row 1. I have 22 chains, and hopefully you have a multiple of 3 plus 1 amount of chains, okay? What we're gonna do first is we are going to make a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. The way that we calculate that is we don't count the chain on the hook, okay? So if you look at the chains, you can see that they look like little V's here. What you're gonna need to do is count 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? This is supposed to be on the hook, just slipped off there. Okay, so you identify the 4th chain from the hook, and then you're gonna yarn over and do a double crochet right there into that 4th chain. So with the 3 that we skipped and this double crochet, we now have the equivalent of 2 double crochets. Now this is important. Let me go ahead and zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see. Okay, so it's important to know that the place where people get mixed up with a modern granny is with the multiples of the double crochets on one side and the other. And I'll explain that a little bit better as we go on, and I have an example to show you. But for now, all you need to know is that we make 2 double crochets at the beginning and 2 double crochets at the end for the first, I'm pointing to the end here, for the first row, okay? So next, what we're gonna do is we are gonna skip 2, okay? Skip, skip, and into that 3rd chain there, we're gonna yarn over, and we're gonna make one of those standard granny square clusters. And if you don't know what that is totally fine. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go in there and we are going to make a double crochet, okay? So there's 1 double crochet. Now we're gonna go back into the same chain and we're gonna put a 2nd double crochet. Okay, so there's 2 double crochets. And then we're gonna go back into the same one more time and make a 3rd double crochet. All right, guys? So now we have that first little granny cluster. And the reason I call them that is because when you are making a traditional granny square, the 3 double crochets is what makes that granny square cluster, okay? So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna skip 2, 1, 2, and in that 3rd chain, you're gonna put another granny square cluster or 3 double crochets, however you want to think about it. So we're skipping 1, 2, and we're going into this next one right here, and we are going to make another granny square cluster right in that place right there. Okay, so we are going to continue this pattern across the entire row of skipping 2, making 3 double crochets in that next chain, skipping 2, then making 3 double crochets in the next chain, and on until we come to the end. And again, at the end, we're gonna make 2 double crochets, okay? But I will see you when I get to the end if you wanna follow along with me, and I'll show you how to do it. All right, guys, I'll see you when I get right about to the end. All right, guys, so I am almost to the very end of this row, as you can see, and I have 3 chains left, all right? So what I'm going to do is, without doing anything, because we didn't chain in between these, I'm just gonna go straight into, I'm gonna skip 1 this time, and I'm gonna go straight into the 2nd to the last chain, okay? And I'm going to make a double crochet in that, okay? And then I'm going to make my last double crochet in the very last stitch, okay? And now I'm going to smooth it out now that I'm done with that, and you can see I have the 2 double crochets on either side here, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, of those granny square clusters in the middle, okay? Now this is gonna be the same if you also use 22 chains, okay? If you had a different number, then it'll be a different amount, okay? So now we are going to do the second part, okay? So this is gonna be a 4-row repeat, but it's very, very easy, okay? So what we're gonna do is we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna turn, okay? So this is the beginning of row 2. What you're going to do is you're going to then, right here at the very base of that chain 3, we're going to put a double crochet right there, okay? As you can see, this then creates that double crochet that's going to form that border. Okay, now we're going to chain 1. We have to do that when we do the top parts of these. So now what we're going to do is add 3 double crochet together, okay, in each of the next stitches, okay? So what we need to do is identify this. I'm just going to use my scissors here. We need to identify that first cluster and see, okay, here's the top 1, 2, 3. So over these 3, we're going to be doing this, and I'm kind of over explaining, okay? So if you guys want to just move on ahead, that's fine. But just in case, you know, I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. This is how we do a double crochet 3 together over multiple stitches, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend like we're doing a double crochet, a regular double crochet into the top of that first double crochet in that cluster, okay? So we pull up a loop, okay, and then we pull through. Let me go ahead and do that again just so you can watch me do it, since I was talking while I was doing it. Yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to ignore that, okay? We're not going to finish that double crochet. What we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, and we're going to do another double crochet into the very next stitch, okay? So let me show you again here. We yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through those first 2. Now we have 3 loops on our hook, okay? And we're going to go ahead and ignore that. And then we're going to do a 3rd double crochet right here in this very last double crochet. Pull up a loop, pull through 2 first, and this is how we're going to crochet them all together. You're going to have 4 loops on your hook at the end of this, okay? All you have to do is pull a loop through all 4 of those. Now, if you are worried about getting your hook snagged on any of these loops, all you have to do is turn your hook down, pointing down, when you pull it through. But once you do this enough times, you'll get the hang of it and it'll just come through just fine. Once you pull that through, then you're going to need to chain twice. 1, 2. Okay? And you have that first completed modern granny right there. Okay? And that's the kind of shape you're going to be making. So now we're going to do it again. We are going to double crochet 3 together with 2 chains afterwards into the next granny square cluster. Okay, so yarning over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, just ignore that, yarn over, pull up a loop. It kind of helps if you don't split your yarn, huh? Pull through 2, and then we're going to do that one more time. And now we have those 4 loops on our hook. Then you pull through all 4 of those, and then you make 2 chains. Okay, so I'm just going to keep doing this at my own pace. I'm probably going to go a little bit slow until I reach the end, just so you guys can follow along with me if you need to watch how I'm making this each time. Now we're going to do this across the row until we get to the very end, and then we are going to do the 2 double crochets. Now when you pull up this loop, you might want to pull it up a little bit so that you can all be on that same height. It might help with your tension if you're having a little bit of problems pulling that loop up a little bit more than you might normally do. Okay, so now we are at the end. Okay, what we're going to do is we are going to chain 2 just like we had been. 1, 2. Okay, and then we are going to put a double crochet on the top of this, okay, right on top of this double crochet right here, and then we're going to put a double crochet into this turning chain that we used in this space right here. Okay, so I'm pointing, we're going to put it into this double crochet here, and then we're going to put it into this turning chain, and that way we are ending with the same border that we began with. Okay, it might be a little bit hard to stick your hook into that turning chain, might be a little bit smaller, but you'll be able to get the hang of it. Okay, so as you can see, it kind of looks like we've got a half of each of them here, and then we've got the whole ones. Okay, so now we're to row 3 and 4. Okay, so row 3 and 4 are going to be a little bit different, and again, this is where people will mess up with the modern granny, and it's such an easy fix. When we have 2 double crochets, okay, we have fewer of these granny clusters. So in the next row, we're going to be making these granny clusters, and they're going to be going here. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because they're going to be staggered. Because of this, we only need 1 on each side of this to make that border, to have that nice straight border. And that's the only trick to the modern granny that you really need to know. But I'm going to go ahead and keep doing these rows with you so you can see how to do them. So how we do, how we do the third row, we chain up 3, okay? That counts as 1 double crochet, and then we turn, okay? Next, we are going to identify these spots right here, okay? And there's going to be one right here too, okay? And we are going to put a granny cluster or 3 double crochets right in those spaces, okay? So that is 3 double crochets here, right in those spaces. Okay, and then we're just going to ignore this part and go right into that space, and we're going to do another one. So it's very, very similar to that first row we did, and that we're just making the granny square clusters like normal. Okay, so we're going to just continue to do that over and over, and when I get to the end, I'll show you how to end it. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see that it wasn't on screen. So yeah, we're going to continue doing that in between each one of these until we get to the end. And when I get to the end, I'll come back and show you how to end it so that you just have that 1 double crochet when you have more of these clusters, okay? See you there. Okay, so remember how I said that these double crochet and then the single crochet rows are what trip people up when it comes to making this particular modern granny pattern? Well, this is probably another part that gets a little tricky. So this is going to be a 4-row repeat because you have your 2 rows where you do the smaller amount, and then you have your 2 rows where you do the larger amount, and then you switch back to the smaller ones and back and forth. When you do the 4th row, there is one different thing that you do when you do the turning chain, and that is you're going to chain 4, and then you're going to turn, okay? Now, the reason we do 4 instead of 3 is because this counts as 1 double crochet and a chain, okay? Because we need a 1 double crochet and a chain space before we start the tops of these modern grannies, okay? And then all we have to do is go straight into the modern granny by double crocheting 3 together across 3 stitches, okay? So we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and then just completely ignore those last 2 loops, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, okay? Just ignore those again, yarn over, go into the 3rd stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Now we have 4 chains on our hook, so we can pull through all 4, and then we are going to do 2 chains And then we just repeat that over and over and over until we get to the end of this. Okay, and I will continue to double crochet 3 together across this row, and I will meet up with you when I get to the end of this 4th row. All right, guys, see you there. All right, welcome back. I have done the entire 4th row until I've got this last one. I've got the 4 chains on my hook, and I pull through all 4. Okay, then I make 2 chains, and then in the very top of this chain, in this 3rd space right there, I'm going to put 1 double crochet. And now, as you can see, we've got our row with fewer of these clusters, and now we've got a row with more of the clusters. And then we have that nice straight frame here, so we can make a nice border, or we can just leave that as the border if we want to. But we need to go back to making the double crochets because we're done with this row. Now we're going to make the staggered row that's got the fewer amount. Okay, so here's how we do that. We chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and this is going to happen every time you reach the 5th row. Okay, or the 1st row if you're repeating 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and call it the 1st row because this is going to be a 4-row repeat. Okay, so this is technically the 1st row. Okay, so we chain 3 and then we turn. Next we yarn over and we put another double crochet, and this is the equivalent of a double crochet, this turning chain. We put a double crochet right into the bottom of that, right there on top of that last double crochet that we just made on the previous row. Okay, so I'm going to go into that stitch and I'm going to put another double crochet. Okay, so I just turned that turning chain into a double crochet right there. Now I'm going to skip this space right here and I'm going to go into the space here. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making my granny clusters in between each one of these. And then when I reach to this side, I'm going to put 2 double crochets right here. All right, so let's go ahead and show you how that looks. Just ignore this one because this is the one where we're making fewer. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3 to make that cluster. Okay, we're just going to keep making those clusters until we come to this very last space here. So I am going to continue making my clusters, come to this last space here, and then I will show you what to do at the end of that row. All right, see you there. All right, guys, so I am at the end of this 1st row repeat, and I am going to make 1 double crochet into this space. Okay, so there's the first part of my border. Then I'm going to make a 2nd double crochet into this 3rd chain from the hook, because remember this was the one where we did 4 chains. Okay, we did the 3 chains and then the 1 extra. So I am going to put a double crochet into the 3rd chain up there and the turning chain. And now I have that same border back. All right, and I'm ready to do the tops of this. So I chain 3, turn, and when I have fewer, then all I have to do when I do this 2nd part is that I put another double crochet at the very base of this one right here. Okay, so I'm putting that double crochet there. Next, I am going to go into each one of these 3 by double crocheting 3 together, and I'm going to complete this and meet you back when I get to the end so I can show you how to switch back to the larger amount. Okay, I'll see you there. All right, so we're at the very end here. So I have just crocheted these together and I have not done my chains yet, so I'm going to chain 2. Then I'm going to put a double crochet on top of that double crochet from the row before, and then a double crochet into that top chain in the turning chain. All right, so we are done with the second row in the repeat. Okay, now we are going to switch back from this double crochet or these two double crochets on either end to one double crochet on either end. Okay, because I want to show you how to do that. 1, 2, 3, and turn. This time you don't have to make a second one. This counts as your as the border here. Now we're just going to go into that first space, okay, and we are going to make our granny square clusters right there in that first space. Okay, so this counts as row 3 on our row repeat. Okay, and I'm going to continue to go into each one of these, putting my granny square clusters, and then when I get here I'm going to even put one there, and then I'm going to put one double crochet right there. But don't worry, I will finish this and then I will show you how to do this when I get to the end, because I really want to make sure you guys get this down, because I know that if it were me I would need some extra help. So I'm just teaching you the way that I would learn. All right guys, see you there. All right guys, so I am back. I have finished row 3 almost. Here I am going to put that single or that double crochet, but I'm only going to do one of them right here at the top of this turning chain. All right, so we have the repeat done through row 3. Okay, so this is the repeat start, 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th repeat. I'm just going to go ahead and do the 4th row right now so you guys can remember, and I'll be sure to make certain that you guys got it. So you chain 3 and turn, then you're going to do another chain, or you can think about it as chaining 4. However you think about it is fine. Just know that at the beginning of the 4th row you're going to do 4 chains. Okay, now you identify this first cluster here, and we are going to double crochet 3 together right across that. Just don't even worry about those loops there. I'm sure you guys are used to it at this point. No worries about them at all. Pull through all 3, chain 2, and then you go into the very next cluster and you double crochet 3 together across the next 3 stitches here. All right, and then you chain 2, and then you continue doing that till you reach the end, and then you have that last double crochet you do. And I will remind you how to go to the next row, but I'm going to go ahead and stop at the end of this row, but I will remind you how to start the first row of the repeat. Okay guys, I'll see you there. All right guys, so I am at the end of the 4th row in the repeat. Okay, and I am going to place 1 double crochet right here at the end to make that border that looks so nice. Now I had told you guys that I am not going to go on, but I can just work it up like I'm pretending like I'm going to go on, just to remind you how to get back to row 1 in the repeat of 4 rows. Okay, so to get back to the row 1 is that you chain 3, 1, 2, 3, all right, and you turn, and then you double crochet into that same stitch right there at the base of it. Okay, so now you have 2 double crochets, or the equivalent of 2 double crochets right there, and then you skip this space because you've already got those 2 double crochets, and then you go into all of these spaces. That creates that staggered stitch, as you can see here. They're staggered, right? Let me make little diagonals there, and you can continue to repeat those 4 rows over and over until your piece is the exact length that you want it to be. Now I want to quit at this place, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a loop, I'm going to snip it, I'm going to pull that tight, and then I'm going to go ahead and hide it under these 3 double crochets together. And it's a good thing that you can watch me hide this, because it's always nice to see how to hide your ends, and that's something that people don't always teach. So I did pull it a little bit through that side there, but I'm also gonna hide it underneath this. And I just go in with my hook usually when it's something like this, but you can always use a darning needle if that's something that you would rather do. And you can even go down a row and hide it behind that other granny square, like go diagonally like that to hide it. You know, because this is just a swatch for me, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it like that. Doesn't have to be hidden too much. And I can go ahead and just hide this one underneath these, okay? So this is the modern granny stitch. Let me go ahead and get my first swatch here. So this is done with Lion Brand. This is Lion Brand Ice Cream Roving, and this has been done with Red Heart Super Saver Ombre in this beautiful spearmint color, which I really like. I love these ombre or ombre. I just love them. I think they're so beautiful. So I have now taught you how to do the modern granny. Hopefully it was clear. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Leave a comment telling me what I've done right, maybe even what I've done wrong. If there's something that you'd like for me to improve on, I'd love it. If you can help me out there. Share this with your friends if you think they'd like it. And if you do happen to make something with this particular pattern, go ahead and send me a picture on my email that's associated with this YouTube channel. I love to look at your projects, and if you give me permission, I'll even post them to my my community tab. All right, guys? Again, thank you so much. I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.